All right, we are live, and I hear your birds.
Oh, are they? I've put them
Yeah,
away this time, so hopefully they're not.
and
Yeah,
they're
hopefully
far
they
in the
quieten down.
background. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
far in the background.
sorry.
So, no, it's kind of cool. I like to be able to hear birds, and so awesome. So it has been. Hopefully, you had a better week this week than last week. You're looking good,
Oh,
and
thank you. Yeah, a little better with the challenge. I managed 3 days out of the five, so not too bad.
that's
Yeah.
good. It sounds like you actually did a little better than me this time. So I had a bit of a rough week, but we'll get into that. So why don't we start out by just doing a brief introduction and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, obviously, my name's Lindy. If you can check out my story on my channel, but in a nutshell, I was 800 pounds down to about 260, 270. I'm sort of fluctuating, hovering at the moment. Kind of, yeah, just finding my feet. But yeah, movement hasn't been a very big part of my journey. It's all been diet related, but now it's time to start the movement, just getting my body moving. And because I want to, I can now. I'm not in pain anymore. I have, better mobility after losing all that weight. So I met the wonderful Lynn in Austin, Texas, and we decided to do a bit of a fitness challenge and try and help get ourselves from being in that sedentary sort of mindset and hopefully get to the point where we actually enjoy doing a bit of exercise and movement, because it's not been on my list of favorite things to do in the past. But yeah, I just feel like I want to move, and these challenges have been great to do that and just work on different parts of our bodies and strengthening ourselves. And yeah, just part of our healing journey, isn't it? Optimizing our carnivore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my name is Lynn, and I'm 56 years old. And actually, this coming Tuesday is our 34th wedding anniversary.
Oh,
So, yeah,
congratulations.
on 34 years. I've got 3 kids, 3 grandkids. And my healing journey with the carnivore diet started in May of 2023. And I've gotten so much benefit with my mast cell activation syndrome. My top weight that I ever recorded was around 350. But when I started the carnivore diet, my first weigh in was just barely under 340. And that was like 2 days after I started. So I'm assuming I was somewhere around 340 or so when I started. And I'm like 236 now as far as pounds.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So I've lost over 100 pounds, and I'm the same with you with fitness. It's not been on my radar, and it's not been something that I've been able to do over the years because of exercise intolerance. And for me, I'm gonna say, like, for you are much heavier than I was, and so I'm sure that was a huge contributor to your inability to get moving. um, Me, I still, at my weight that I was at, I could have walked. I could have done, probably water aerobics. And there were times where I did try, but a huge part of mast cell activation syndrome for me was exercise intolerance. And so when I would push myself to exercise, I would feel worse, and I'd often be out of it for several days, sometimes a week.
Mm.
And that I feel like I still struggle with that mentality, that, like, because I was 55 when I started the carnivore diet. So I had decades of having this issue with exercise intolerance. And so for me, like, the mental part of it is the hardest part for me to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of all of those decades of the messaging that my body was telling me that when I exercise, I get worse. And so then why would I want to exercise? And yeah, so that's been a challenge for me, is to just kind of, I have to rewire my brain to, because now I can exercise and it doesn't make me feel worse.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
I
a huge improvement.
Yeah, I also think they kind of stress it. You need to go to the gym, you need to be running and jogging and doing all these really hard things. And when from our condition to jump into something like that, it's just too difficult. It's too hard. It feels like torture, and that scares us.
Yeah.
But we're just taking it slow. It's more for the focus on a bit of movement, maybe just strengthening our muscles, doing a little bit of a gentle walk, go for a hike, doing these little exercise videos with some nice music. It doesn't have to be like pounding it out at the gym and doing these
Right.
aerobic and fit hit cardio routines and things like that. We just keep it simple and
Right.
just about
Exactly.
keeping that body moving and strengthening slowly.
Yeah. And hey, Amy, good to see you here. So
Hi,
she
Amy.
relates because she's got mast cell disease as well. And it's why she can't exercise, especially in the heat. Yeah, absolutely. The heat, heat sensitivity, heat intolerance is also a part of mast cell activation syndrome. It's summer here, so I don't. For anyone who's new, like I'm in Washington State in the U.S. and Lindy is in Melbourne, Australia. So it's winter for you, and it's summer for me. But I have to be incredibly grateful that I don't live in Texas or one of the other states in the US where it's really hot and humid because I would not be able to handle it. Washington summers, like the warmest we get typically is in the 80-degree range. And if you're in the US and Fahrenheit, I don't know for sure what that is in Celsius, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We get about 30 degrees here in
yeah, it's
Melbourne in the
warm.
summer.
It's warm, but it's tolerable. It's not
Mm.
really hot. Well, let me just do a quick Fahrenheit to Celsius. Uh, I should probably always have my metric thing handy. So let's see. So let's say 80
That's
degrees is 26 degrees Celsius.
that's perfect weather for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, that's lovely.
So I still struggle a little bit when it's 80s. I do a lot better in the 60s and 70s. But Amy says, this is more proof I need to live in Alaska. Well, you could go to Alaska, but Washington's pretty nice. So Amy and I are co-writing books, together for, Healing Humanity and then for Dr. Barry's American Diabetes Association. So we've co-written 2 books. And so
Oh,
we're on the
lovely.
phone. We're on the phone a lot. And she's always suffering from the heat down in the South. And I'm trying hard not to rub it in and coax her to come up to Washington.
Well,
Yeah.
free feel to come over to Australia. It is freezing here. I am suffering.
Oh,
I've got the little
in
heater on, the big heater, the woolly jumper.
Washington State is
No.
112 in Texas. I could not handle. Yeah, Texas, and there's no humidity. There's like if there's occasionally we have a day where it's a little humid, but so that's something where I think that now like even my heat intolerance is better. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better. Um,
Mhm.
and one of the things I have to do is just slowly challenge myself and push my boundaries a little bit and just develop that resilience. And I feel like I probably should be taking the same approach with exercise, which I feel like we're doing. Like
Mm.
we're not doing anything that's not really doable for us. And we still have to push ourselves a little bit. Like, okay, so I'll just give you my update for this past week and then you can share yours because I think that you probably did better than me. Um, but I've been struggling a lot with my sleep and my sleep schedule's all messed up. And so I've been really working on trying to get to bed earlier. And even if I can't get to sleep, I'm still trying to get up at the same time every day. I badly failed yesterday, but I'm overall doing good. But I'm feeling some fatigue and I've been feeling weaker this week. But I did do the workout. My husband and I went out and did some walks. So I did do some walking. I've been doing the resistance bands and I did the workout probably only a couple times, but I was able to do the 20 minutes version. And so like last week I was still struggling and I was doing them, but I was only able to get to maybe 10 minutes. And I would just be too worn out. And so I
Mm.
feel like even though I didn't do it as often, I at least was able to finish a whole one. So I'm going to chalk that up as a victory. And is in considering that, it's arms too, and she's having us lift our legs, and not just, and even like the most recent one that I did, it wasn't just kicking too, like it was like really she wanted us to really kick kind of higher and get our arms involved, and so it really was a little more challenging, and I was able to do it. So
Yeah,
I see that as a victory. So how have
that's
you been
brilliant.
doing?
Yeah, no, I've been, yeah, still lots of appointments for my daughter, so I'm leaving home really early in the morning and getting there, doing the appointments, and I spend the days with her. So I've been doing a lot of extra walking around with her.
Mhm.
We've just got a white cane for her, so we went out with Vision Australia, and we've been testing that out in the street.
Oh,
So
good,
we
good.
went shopping together into a cafe and did a few little things just so she could feel her way around the place. And yeah, it's been great, but it's such an emotional journey just watching my
Oh, yeah.
daughter, 33 years old, she's a business owner, and suddenly she's blind.
Right.
And watching her with a stick, struggling to navigate stairs and crossings, with this stick, and I have to take a step back. Being a mum, I just want to wrap her in cotton wool, take her by the hand, guide her everywhere, and I have to like, no, stand back, let her do her thing. She needs to be independent. And
Yeah,
that emotional struggle and the mind games and feeling helpless that I can't help more, it
yeah,
does my head in. So because I leave early, I like to do my exercise in the morning, have a shower and whatever, but I just haven't been able to because I've been leaving so
yeah,
early. And by the time I get home, I am so emotionally exhausted. The last thing I want to do is pop on an exercise video and do
yeah.
that. So I have been consistent with my vibration plate. I
Good.
do that every day without fail. The first thing I do is set my alarm 15 minutes earlier so I can jump on my vibration plate. So that's
Yeah,
without fail. I don't care how tired I am, that's a must. So
good.
that I do every day religiously. And then the days that I'm not at my daughter's, then I try to do the video, but I can't do it from start to finish. I have to
Okay.
do it like in 5, minute increments because I get
Yeah,
tired easily. Because I'm just tired, I'm exhausted, and I try and push myself and I can't. But I'm finishing the videos, but just not in one hit at the moment because I'm
yeah.
so all over the place.
Well,
But
and emotional stress can create so much fatigue. You
yeah,
don't have to be
yeah,
physically pushing yourself to be exhausted, and you've been through a lot. I mean, that's a lot with your daughter. And is she is
yeah.
she is she getting the hang of it with the cane? And
Yeah, she's loving the cane. She was, very against it at the start. She's like, "I'm not going to have a cane. I don't want," it's like a pretty much a badge. I'm blind, so, here
yeah,
I'm a cane now, and she just didn't want that. But now, the Vision Australia people said, "Look, just give it a try. It's something that you can maybe
yeah,
use down the track and see how you feel." Well, she loved it. She's like, "I want one," and
good, good.
so they brought it over yesterday. We went out and we spent the day out just doing things together, with these people, training her on what to do when you approach obstacles and how to navigate stairs and all these, people and things like that.
Right.
And yeah, she just loved it. She loved it. It gave her a little bit more independence, just a little bit more confidence walking, just feeling all the different, moving from grass to pebbles to
Yeah,
concrete to roads. And, she's now learning all the different patterns on the floor and how to navigate all of that. So she's so adaptable, very independent. She's determined.
good
Like
for her.
she's such a strong kid. Like I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
But, it just breaks my heart, like,
Is she
just
gonna be
thinking
able
about it.
is she gonna be able to get a dog?
It could be an option later down the track. She does actually have 2 dogs at the moment. So, I was told that if you've got dogs, you can't get a
Oh,
guide dog.
oh,
But then I've just found another person who does have, I think, 4 dogs and cats, and she's got herself a guide dog. So it is a possibility down the track, but I think you have to be confident with the cane and showing that you can live life, because if
mhm,
something happens to the dog, it gets spooked, it runs off or whatever, you need to be
right,
able to navigate around
right.
without the dog. So they want you to be in a place where you're comfortable with the condition and able to navigate that. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm imagining that
yeah,
they would have to make sure that they are not completely dependent on the dog.
yeah.
You
So it's something she can consider later down the track.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So have you, I know last week when we caught up, you were not really holding down a lot of food and were really struggling. How's
Mm.
that going?
Yeah, no, still the same. I'm struggling to keep any meat down. The meat I just find is really it's hard. So I've been literally throwing a lot of ground beef in my slow cooker with a lot of
Okay.
water and just sort of boiling that up and just drinking that. And that's how I'm getting my meat down. So it's little
Okay.
pieces of meat and just drinking it like a broth with a bit of a spoon. And so it's not a lot of food. But I have gone off track a little bit, which has been not very good. So I'm trying to get back on track again today. Um,
Okay.
just because it's so easy to eat those other things that
Mm,
are no good for you. And I just guess my moods have been really down and that
yeah.
comfort eating sort of came back
More
in and
emotional eating.
yeah. And but I know how to fix it. Like I know that I'm feeling crap because of it. So it's my own
Mm,
fault and I know that. And I know that carnivore is the answer. This is what keeps me on track. It keeps me
yeah.
going. And I can't afford to let myself spiral because just introducing a few vegetables, that's all you need, is enough to get me to spiral back into how I was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not
yeah.
everybody is like that. And I definitely know that there's people who can,
Oh,
have a
for
little bit
sure.
here and there
Yeah.
and they're okay. And but yeah, there's people that absolutely can't. I I I haven't even tested that out with
Yeah.
for myself because I'm just too scared to even test it at this point because I don't want to
Yeah.
end up in the ER, you know, because
Well,
yeah,
it's been 2 years, nearly 9 months for me now, carnivore, and I've been pretty strict. And then just before Texas, I did have a couple of like outings where I did have introduced a few vegetables, or when we went to my mother-in-law's, she'd make a roast with some veg, and I'll have a little bit of potato and a piece of pumpkin. And I was okay. Like it would start the cravings, but we'd quickly go home, I'd have some meat, and that was over.
and you're
And I was
okay.
able to moderate. But now with everything that's going on, that willpower is not as strong because I
Yeah,
just I really feel defeated, like deflated with my kids watching them, and
yeah,
yeah, I'm not as strong, and so
yeah,
it is easy to spiral. So, I thought I was over it. I thought I could moderate now, but obviously, when life happens and it's something I can't control, I can't fix my daughter.
no,
This is it. I've got to accept it. I've got to learn to live with it. And I've got to, but I can't afford to let myself go as well. And I'm trying to find that balance of looking
yeah,
after Lindy and looking after my daughter. And that's where the lines are blurred at the moment because my focus is so much on her. And then I get home and it's like, okay, on the couch, let's get something to snack on because it'll make me forget about what's going on and make my day feel a little bit better. And then I feel the guilt and that spiral happens. And
yeah.
yeah, so
Well, Amy's suggesting that when you're feeling the urge to eat something that you don't shouldn't be eating, just to take like 5 minutes and write down your feelings. Journaling. I don't know. Have you tried journaling before? When
Not really. No, when I sit on the couch, I'll normally play with my iPad. But yeah, my husband hasn't been too supportive either. I'm like, oh, I'm in a mood. I just feel like
Yeah.
some chocolate. And he goes, okay. And off he goes to the shop and he'll buy me chocolate. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to say, honey, no, let's have it. I'll make a cup of tea or something like
So,
that.
told
So,
him? Have you told him if I ask you for anything that's
yeah,
on carnivore,
twice.
don't get it for me?
Twice, and he's still because he wants it. So he'll go off and he'll get it so he can get himself a snack, and then he brings it home. And so we're gonna have to talk again today because it happened again last night, and I'm just gonna say, "No, honey, if you want something, you can go and sit in your car and eat it, but you're not bringing it in the
Right.
house, and I don't want anything in the house either." So,
Well, I mean,
um,
maybe he needs to go back and revisit, like pictures of you from before and,
yeah.
go, I don't want to get back to this, this way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. I think it's probably hard for people who can moderate and don't have the struggles that we have to realize how easily we can slip and go back into old habits. And
Yeah.
we have to guard
And
our
I can't.
progress.
Yeah, and I can't expect him to keep me, strict. It's my journey, it's my decision, and I need to do it for me. So I can't blame him. If he wants to eat crap, well, go and eat crap, but just don't bring it in my house.
Right,
This is
exactly.
my house, and I need to feel safe, and this is my safe place. I don't need stuff like that in my
Yeah.
house. So you go and do what you like outside the house, and then come back when you're finished. Um, I can't make him do carnivore, and like, obviously he needs it. I would love him to be carnivore and be more supportive, but it's just not going to happen. And I need to just let that go and concentrate on myself, concentrate on my kids, who also, we've had the carnivore discussion. We've sat down and watched videos together about people with eye conditions, and my daughter with her gallbladder, other one who just had her gallbladder removed, trying to convince her carnivore can fix this, just give it a go. But you can't convince people, or
Yeah.
if they don't, they're just like, "Oh, mum, I don't have 500 pounds to lose. It's not going to work for me." I'm
It's
like,
it's really difficult, and I can't blame people because when the first time I
yeah,
went on carnivore for that 6 weeks back in 2021, I didn't know it could help anything other than weight loss.
yeah,
I thought that it was just for weight loss.
yes,
And it wasn't until the second time last year when I went on it that I went on it for other things, and I realized that all the healing, that weight
mm,
loss is not the biggest reason. I mean, yeah, if you want to go on it for weight loss, great, but there's the other healing is just incredible.
it
And
is, yeah,
yeah, and it's got to be hard because just kind of have to, people have to realize that it's not necessarily just a weight loss diet. People that are thin and have various illnesses go on this diet and they feel and they heal.
yeah.
So let's see. Josephine said, I started to add fish to last night's. Okay, I don't understand that. Heart attack fish?
Is that like the heart attack chicken and burgers that they make, where they deep fry it in tallow or something, and they call it
Oh,
heart attack chicken or heart attack fish?
maybe, but it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Oh, she said yes. Okay. And Amy says journaling can really help to just sit down with what you are feeling so you get it out of your head. It's safe in the journal. Yeah, just a few sentences, not pages. Yeah, that is true. Just even writing it down a little bit, even if it's on your phone, or, sometimes when I was struggling, I would do like a voice recording on my phone just to kind of talk. And even just talking and just verbalizing it really
Mm,
gets it out. And, or, you got so many people in the carnivore community. If you need support, reach out and say, hey, I'm feeling tempted and, I'm having cravings
yeah.
or whatever. And, it's not AA, but it works the same, right? We're here.
Well, I think that's my other struggle, because I haven't been home. I haven't been in my SBG meetings and in the community as much, because I'm not here to be in them. And so I have been a little bit away from the community. So I did join the NSV meeting this morning, and it was so nice to be back and just hear all the stories and, the positive things people are experiencing and going through. So that was really motivating, and it just helps you to keep on track. But yeah, it's just, I've got to be at the meetings, and I don't
Yeah.
you can't underestimate how important those meetings are to me. That is what has saved me, and now that I've been withdrawn from that because of all my life obligations, I'm feeling it. So
Yeah.
I need to immerse myself back in the community. So from now on, I'm going to try and schedule all these appointments for my daughter around my meetings, so that I look after myself as well. Because I've got to find that balance. As I said, I'll be
Yeah.
there for my daughter, but I need to be my best self. Otherwise, I'm going to be useless for her.
Right. And all the
So
progress you've made is what is allowing you to be there for her.
exactly,
So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm assuming she would probably not want you to fall back into old habits and gain weight back. And
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I know your girls are really proud of you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So Amy says, if I look at it as a diet, I will fail 100%. Of course, I want to lose, but eating disorder behaviors trips me up. Yeah. We
Yeah.
all have our struggles, that's for sure. But I think I'm the same too, because I think for me one of the biggest factors is the fact that I'm not having acute mast cell reactions anymore, because those are really scary. And having to call 911 and being fine one moment, the next moment I'm having to call an ambulance is like, it's no way to live. So you're right, it's the weight loss is great, but the other health benefits are probably a lot stronger. So remember, Mrs. Lindy, if you don't take care of you, you can't help your girls. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. I'm completely aware of that, and I know what I need to do. Yeah, it's just doing it now and not letting those thoughts take over.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but I'm on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think it's good that you're at least, you figured out how you can get food down you, because
Mm,
it's hard to be as active as you're being and to try to exercise if you don't have any nutrition.
yes.
So, you feel like you're getting enough for now to kind of sustain you,
I'm
or
not eating as much as I should be. No way. Yeah.
so
But
this
I
has
just need
happened
to keep
before.
grazing, lots of little meals throughout the
Mhm.
day. I still tend to do 2 meals, and
Okay.
I can't eat a lot in one sitting, and I need to focus more on having, every hour or every 2 hours just having a mug of soup or something,
Yeah.
and that way and getting it all down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this has happened before though, right? Where you have periods where you can't get the food down.
Oh,
Um,
all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
When this happens, how long does this tend to last?
Well, when I get stressed out, when there's a lot
Mhm.
going on in life, and everything seems to tighten up and I just can't get food down. So it's not like I have a meat aversion, but it literally doesn't even
Right.
hit my stomach. So my stomach is currently grumbling because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It literally gets stuck up here somewhere, and then I throw it up. I can't get it down. But I'm starving, and until that feeling passes, I can't even drink water. I have to just go without for a couple of hours until that full feeling goes. It's like I've got a lump in my throat, and until that feeling goes, I can't try and eat or even drink water until it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because of your lap band, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Oh, thank you, Amy. She says, you're both a huge inspiration to me. I'm thankful to see the good and the hard of your journeys. It seems like lately it's more hard than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the time, the things that we can't control, isn't it? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, that's life, right? And I think that I know with our whole focus is on fitness and fitness challenge, and I feel like maybe we are a little more normal than a lot of people who do fitness challenges, because we're not fitness people. I think that some of the struggles that we deal with are probably what a lot of people experience, because I'd be curious to know, like, these fitness challenges that you see on people's YouTube channels, like, how many people are able to actually do them? Like, you go into them with good intentions, right?
Oh,
And
always. Yeah.
yeah, and like, but how many people are really able to do them? And I feel like if we're not doing well, we just need to be honest about it. And we just my whole thing is not give up. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, we're as long as we just admit, okay, we're not doing that great, we're struggling, and just talk it through and just kind of regroup and keep setting those little doable goals. I feel like eventually we're going to get there, right?
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
And I have struggled with the walking videos because of what's going on, but I have told
yeah.
myself I must do the vibration plate. That is the bare minimum that I have to do twice a day. So I do it in the morning and then I do it before bed. So that's 30 minutes because it goes for 15 minutes each time I use it. So 30 minutes on the vibration
Yeah.
plate, but that just helps with my lymphatics. It's not
Right.
burning fat and doing all that, but it's just keeping that lymphatic system moving because that's a
Yeah.
big problem that I have. So I need to do that for my health. So that's bare minimum every
And
day.
the lymphedema flare that you had, is it improving since you've been on the vibration plate every day?
I feel the huge difference after I've been on it, but
Good.
then as the day goes on, it flares up again because I'm yeah, not eating optimally at the moment. I'm malnourished and a few things are getting back. So
Yeah. So Jace is just wondering, is lap band reversal surgery a thing? It is a thing, and I know we've talked about this together on this, weekly thing that we do, and I know you're concerned about scar tissue and just having
yeah,
surgery, right?
I had it 27 years ago, so it didn't work for me. And I am scared of scar tissue being around the band. If they try and remove it and they damage something, it could cause a hell of a lot more problems for me. I just don't have any faith in the procedure at all. So
So is it completely deflated at this point and just there?
it has been loosened a little bit.
Mhm,
When my mum passed away, I couldn't eat anything at all. I was throwing
mhm.
up, and so they loosened it a little bit just to give me a little bit of more room to be able to keep some food down. And then I never went back. Um,
So you
so
could you go back and just have them completely deflate it and just leave it there? But
it is deflated, it is just sitting there, but
okay,
it's
okay.
yeah, so it is
So it already
deflated
is.
as much as it can be. Then the only way is to remove it completely, but I'm too scared for that to happen, so and it was 12, oh, probably even more now, 15 years since my mum passed away. So it's been deflated for 15 years, and I'm still struggling with that, so
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So let's see. So, oh, Amy had hers removed. So that's
Mm.
good. So Lainey, hi from Western Australia.
Hi,
Yay.
Lainey.
I really need to just start and be consistent. I hear that some people put on weight when starting carnivore, and that scares me. So then I jump on some quick fix diet. Um,
I think you need to think of this as a healing diet more than
yeah,
losing weight. Once your body is healed and you're nourished, the weight loss just happens. So, yes, some people can put on weight when they first start, and you just need to let that go. Throw the scales away, divorce the scales for, 3 months, concentrate on eating the meat and just living this lifestyle, keeping consistent. And then later, once if your body's nourished, you can then start to tweak and do things like introducing some fasting, or there's so many tools out there that you can do. Um,
and I would
cutting,
start with
yeah,
measurements too, because your body composition changes a lot.
yes,
And I mean, I always recommend for anybody just even get the cheap body composition scale like the Renfo one that I use, because I've been using that since the very beginning, and that's been so helpful to see, even if the scale doesn't really budge. A lot of times I've lost, 2, 3 pounds of fat, and the scale hardly budges, but I'm gaining muscle, and I've even gained, like 1.6 pounds of bone, 25 pounds of muscle. And so that has been really, really helpful just to see how the body composition changes, and then the measurements. And but you're right. If it depends on how much healing you have. Some people, your body, your first response to getting nourishment, your body may gain weight, and as it's healing. I mean, it didn't happen for me. I lost pretty steadily, but it can happen. But I would say don't get discouraged
yeah.
if it
Well, I
does.
think if you're closer to your sort of goal weight, you probably will put on rather than lose
Mhm.
instantly. Whereas we're coming from a much more heavier, position. So we're
Right.
definitely going to lose because we're cutting back and cutting out the sugars and carbs and things completely. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm probably 50 pounds, maybe 60, but not no more than that, to go. And I my weight loss has slowed down, and I
yes,
anticipated that it would, and I'm okay with that. It was very, very steady for over a year. And so, I mean, I'm feeling good. And I often tell my husband, I said, even though I have like maybe 50 pounds to go, like I could function if I stayed at the current weight I'm at the rest of my life. I could function. I couldn't function before. And
Mm,
I was totally disabled and couldn't function. And so, but not that I want to stay at, in the mid 230s. I don't, but I can function, and I'm 5'8",
yeah.
so I'm tall, so it probably wouldn't look the same on me as it would on someone who's a lot shorter. But yeah. But yeah, I would definitely, Lainey would stay plugged into the carnivore community for sure because um, you know, if you start it and you need tips and you definitely come on to live streams like this and just ask your questions, and people who've been doing this for a long time can give you some advice. So yeah, tricky procedure about the lap band. Okay. Oh, Amy said she knows about scar tissue. Okay, yeah. So maybe you can chat with Lindy about the surgeries
Yeah,
you
yeah.
had it done.
I'd love to connect. I'm more than happy to hear what your experience. Yeah, if it can help me,
Yeah,
because it does put a damper on my journey for sure. Especially when
yeah,
you're eating out with carnivals in Austin, Texas, and watching everybody eat their steaks, and here I am like a little bird, too scared to eat because I might
yeah.
get stuck. So yeah, it's not very
Well,
nice.
maybe it doesn't hurt to gather information, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's nobody's going to force you to make any decisions, but getting information and getting educated about it might help you, you know, decide. And maybe it's something you might want to do. No, not necessarily right now, but it might be something
Mm,
that you might want to do. So Lady
yeah.
says just a mental fear of gaining weight. Yeah, isn't that like ingrained into us, right? We just are so dependent on the scale. And so maybe for you, not even having a scale, not even stepping on the scale might be a good thing. And just go by how your clothes fit and how you feel. One of the cool things that happened to me when I went carnivore, and I don't know if you experienced this too, Lindy, but I love that amazing empty feeling that I have when I'm eating this way because the bloat is gone. And so
Yes.
you actually feel a lot lighter just from having that amazing empty hollow feeling inside.
Yeah, and you don't get that food coma where you've eaten and you just feel like, "Oh, that's it. I need a siesta now." You eat and it's just like it's over. You finish when you stop, when you're not hungry anymore, and you just keep going, and you're still the life of the party where everyone's sitting there unzipping their first, but and
Right.
undoing the button and unzipping their flies because they just can't keep the stomach in their pants. It's awful.
I don't think you can really overeat if you're getting enough fatty meat because
No.
when we eat so many carbs, our satiety signals get all messed up. And
Yeah.
but when you're eating fatty meat, those signals kick back in, and it's
It's
really
that off switch that I constantly talk about. That off switch
Mhm.
happens, and it's just like, "That's it, I've had enough, I don't want any more." You can pop a Tim Tam or a nut chocolate cake in front of me, and I'm not interested. I'm
Right.
quite satisfied.
That
And
the leptin and the ghrelin, right? That
yeah,
we
yeah.
they don't work for us when we're eating the carbs, and also we're just not getting all the nutrients that we need when we're eating a lot of carbs too. So, okay, so Amy says, "Yes, let's talk." Yeah, I'll get you two connected.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Okay, so question: why does dairy cause weight loss stalls? What is in it that? Thanks, Lindy and Lynn from Alberta, Canada. Love Canada. My husband's Canadian.
Oh,
So, it's interesting because my book club that meets on Sundays, the online book club, we have gone through so many of these books. And one of the books we read, I don't know if it was Dr. Fung's book or Dr. Barry's book, one of those, or maybe both of them, they said the studies actually don't support that overall that dairy causes weight loss stalls. Definitely doesn't cause gain. But then I hear so many people talking about how the dairy does cause it. And it may be that there's natural sugars. I mean, there's lactose in dairy. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on it, Lindy?
I heard it's something to do with the casein in it.
Casein.
I know butter doesn't have as much, so a lot of people can tolerate butter, but any other dairy is a no-go.
Yeah.
I've also heard that, like if you're drinking milk, what do mammals and cows, they all feed their babies milk to make them grow.
To
But
grow.
we don't need to grow. We're finished growing, so that's why we shouldn't be having milk
Right.
products now. So that was another thing that sort of come up. But for me, I can't moderate cheese. I love it so
I
much,
did too.
and if I have it, I just keep wanting to eat it, eat it, eating, and then it flares up my lymphedema. My lips start to
Mm.
swell, and I really feel there's something in the cheese that is not working for my body. So for me personally, I need to stay away from cheese because
Yeah.
it's deadly for
And
me.
it probably does all go back to the root of the fact that the dairy products are for, young calves.
To make them grow,
Make them
yeah.
grow, yeah. So, I don't know, I mean, whatever the studies show, I feel like the people's anecdotal evidence that they experience is super important because there's obviously a reason why people start to eat dairy and their weight loss will stall, and then you stop and your weight loss kicks back in.
Yeah, but I don't believe it's for everyone, and I think you need to find out what works for you, and if you're stalled at the moment and you are having dairy, try cutting it out and see what happens.
Yeah,
You may be one of the ones like us that it does affect. You may get building up fluid or, stalling you in other ways, but if
yeah,
it's not that, then maybe it's something else. It might be coffee or it might be is anything else sneaking in that you're not aware of? Some sweeteners perhaps?
yeah. Like, my
It's
husband can eat all the dairy he wants, and he has no problems, I'm so jealous.
Oh. Yeah.
But, it's like, I think from everything I've read, that's very rare. Yeah, so Jace's lactose. Yeah, so lactose or casein. I mean, and like when I eat dairy, and I have been struggling lately with dairy, to be entirely honest. But and I feel like it's kind of stalling my weight loss. It's either that or my sleep. And so here's the thing, like, I don't know because I'm having so much trouble with getting my sleep regulated. Is it that I'm eating dairy? Is it the fact that I'm not sleeping well? I don't know what's causing my weight loss stall, but I am in a bit of a stall, just a bit. It's not like I'm just losing very slowly right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so I don't know. I'll have to see. So Jay says cheese is deadly for me too. I've been trying dairy free for the last month and I've lost a couple of pounds. Good.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, do you think that when like dairy is a big problem, you can satisfy those cravings with butter or with
I don't I try not to eat a lot of butter. I'm going more sort of line at the moment because butter, yeah, the same thing. I still have that mental thing that, yeah, butter makes you fat. It probably doesn't, and I've been eating butter and I stopped my hair stopped falling out and it did really well for me, but I still have those old thoughts coming back, all the time. So I'm having a lot more tallow than butter. Um, yeah, so I think I do like butter, and probably is a bit of a problem for me, whereas tallow, I can't overdose on that and have too much of that. So
yeah.
and I don't mind it, and I do put, a little bit of, Tabasco or something, just that vinegary thing. Todd talks about it all the time. It's sort of it goes it gives you that little extra boost of energy and also helps you digest the fat a lot better.
Mhm.
So I'm finding that works, and it also gives me a bit of flavor, and it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So that's another tip that I do.
And another thing, and this isn't for everybody, but some people like me where histamine is an issue, it's the type of cheese like that could be a problem because aged cheeses, smoked cheeses, even cultured butter, those are all higher histamine, which is inflammatory. And so, like for me, even with cheeses, if I do have cheese, I have to make sure that it's young cheese, it's not aged, can't be smoked. And if I do have butter, it's sweet cream butter, it's not cultured butter.
Wow. Because I say that the aged cheeses are the best, which is what everybody goes
I
for
know,
too,
it's
isn't
so
it?
sad. Yes, and smoked cheese is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, dear.
right, but it's and I think I'm getting better, and, one of the thing I mentioned, we have, for our Healing Humanity Life website where we have our Inspire Together group. It's like as, SVG's groups where you share your victories and everything, and one of the things I shared this past week was that my gut has healed enough that I can finally have a couple times a week, I can have bacon and eggs.
Oh,
And
nice.
which is like, oh my goodness, like bacon's high histamine, egg whites are high histamine, and I couldn't have anything. Initially, like my throat would swell and I'd have more of an anaphylactic type reaction with my like airway. But then once that kind of settled down, then I would still have a gut in reaction. There's so many histamine receptors in the gut, and my gut would really get upset. And so I'm so excited because it's been, over 14 months, going on 15 months. Oh, maybe yesterday 15 months, huh? It might be. 15? Yeah, I think it's been 15 months. Anniversary,
Wow.
carnivore diet. I totally forgot. But anyways, it's taken a long time. But finally now I can have bacon and eggs. So that's just kind of on the cheese topic. There's several things that could cause problems when it comes to cheese, and you don't want to have anything that's inflammatory to your system. So it could
Yes.
potentially be a histamine for some people. I think more people have histamine issues than we even realize.
And the fact that you're starting to heal those things now and being able to introduce a few little extra things in your diet, that's fantastic.
I'm so
Like,
excited.
yeah.
It was depressing for me to when I got that reminder, like early on when I started the carnivore diet, and I was like, okay, I did the beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, the whole thing. And I was like, okay, I'm still having issues. I was getting
Yeah.
a little better, but I was losing weight and stuff. But yeah, so when I realized, oh wait, shoot, I can't have this because it's high histamine, that was so depressing. It
Yes.
was kind of demoralizing. And so there's hope. Yes.
And they're probably telling you, "You're not doing carnivore right." And it's like, "No, it's the histamines." But,
It's the
you don't
histamine.
know this when you're first starting. You just do, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and you don't realize there's actually underlying issues that you can't do it. So,
Yeah, and I, of all people, should have known because I know at the time I had mast cell activation syndrome, so I knew histamine was an issue, but I was just focusing on other sources of histamine
yeah.
back when I was not eating carnivore, and it's almost like my brain just like wouldn't turn on from a histamine standpoint until like a few months into it. Then the light bulb went on. I went, "Oh, wait, shoot." Yeah. Oh, that's right. I still have to avoid the histamine. Okay. So Amy says, I just remembered this was that band you can develop gastroparesis. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I would really think about calling your lap band doctor and talking to him about it. Okay. So,
I don't really know what that is, but I have heard that thrown around a few times
yeah.
recently, so I might have to look it up.
Gastroparesis is where you have slowed gastric emptying. So basically, food hangs out too long in your stomach. But it sounds, it's hard, like with you, what you're describing, it's almost sounding like it's getting caught and not
Yeah,
making it
it
to your
doesn't even hit
stomach.
my tummy. My stomach's rumbling now because it's
Does it
hungry,
come
but
back up?
sorry,
Does it
when
come
I
back up?
if I can't keep my food down, like, it's not stomach acid coming up because I don't get any burning sensation. It's literally
Mhm.
just the food I've eaten, so it hasn't actually hit my stomach yet.
Yeah. So typically
Yeah,
with gastroparesis, you'll be very nauseated. Not everybody vomits a lot. If you have a severe gastroparesis, not everybody vomits, but it's a lot of with severe gastroparesis, you can't keep anything down.
mm,
But your symptoms, and I mean, I'm just speaking from my experience as a GI nurse, with all the patients
yeah.
I worked with, you're not sounding like a classic case of gastroparesis.
Yeah, it's not hitting my stomach at all. I mean, I've also have done the, binging and purging thing before carnivore and,
Yeah.
it was 'cause I was just it's one of my weight loss things I was trying to do, so I know what happens then, and you'd have this acid in your throat and the
Yeah.
burning sensations. I get none of that with this. So it's not actually going into my stomach. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that my bigger concern would be the condition of your esophagus,
Mm.
you know? But it's just interesting that it happens when you're stressed and that you see
Oh, yeah, it's
stress
like
horrible
everything
people.
tightens up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Question. Hello again. Can ketosis cause headaches or is it from undereating? I don't think ketosis can cause headaches. I don't know that I've never heard that question before, but I know that being in ketosis is really good. It's anti-inflammatory. I know under eating can definitely cause headaches. And
Yeah.
I'd be concerned too about how much, if you're drinking, how much water you're drinking. Um, and we've talked about before, like you can drink too much water and like be flushing out your electrolytes. um, there's kind of a balance when it comes to water. And I took I was doing electrolytes and doing the element, and especially it's important when you're starting. A lot of people need to take the electrolytes. Did you take electrolytes when you started
I
doing?
did for a little while, only because everybody else was saying you should take
Mhm.
electrolytes, but then I stopped and I didn't feel any different.
How long did
So,
you take them?
oh, a few months, 3 or 4
Yeah.
months. Yeah, and then they're expensive, so
Mhm.
I just didn't buy them and I didn't feel any different. But I do have a packet now of LMNT, and every now and then I'll just throw one in my water and have it, just
Mhm.
in case. But if I get sick, which I don't get sick often, or if
Yeah.
I feel I need them, they're there as a backup. But it's not something I feel I need every day. Whereas I know people need them every day. They feel really bad without them. So again, it's just I think you've just got to listen to your body. If you're not feeling
But
well, if
also, when you're just getting started with the carnivore diet, you're going to feel worse before you feel better.
exactly.
Because there's a period of time where your body's transitioning from using glucose for fuel to using ketones for fuel. And during that part phase, you could feel like you're coming down with the flu. You could have headaches. You could have, be exhausted. Some
Disaster
people,
pants.
yeah, and some people, if no, I didn't experience this, but some people will have diarrhea because they're just
Yeah,
not fat adapted. And so
6 months.
yes, you may need to ease into getting yourself fat adapted. I think that because I don't have my gallbladder, I had my gallbladder removed when I
Yeah,
was 40. I was more careful easing up on the fat, and but I'm fat adapted now. Like I can eat plenty of fat. I can eat butter like Bella does and just take bites out of sticks of butter, and I don't have any problems. But these are just, so I guess my question would be is like, is this something you're experiencing within the first month of trying the carnivore diet? If it is, then it may be that just that transition phase of trying to get adapted. And, the electrolytes might be something that would be helpful and to get through that. But I've heard people, I think I was really fortunate because I did go cold turkey. And so I'm surprised I didn't experience a really bad time, but I've heard people talk about, oh my gosh, I feel terrible for like several weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
definitely feel like joining a community. There's plenty of communities out there, and just sharing your experience with other people, because I know there's bound to be many people that are also experience that and who have dealt with
absolutely.
it and can give you some tips on how they get through it. So,
Yeah. So she said with lap band, it cannot even get past your band. It can just sit there. It means your muscles are not working to move your food through. That's what it sounds more like to me. Is the
mm,
peristalsis of your esophagus. There's some dysfunction there. Because of EDS, my gastroparesis is so bad that the food doesn't even get through my esophagus. Yeah. So so you can have peristalsis issues with your esophagus too. So,
mm,
but yeah, it's just interesting. Typically, like just based on my experience, the people that had it, it doesn't like wax and wane as much. And maybe it's different when you have a lap band, but most of the people I worked with that had gastroparesis, it was because of not well controlled diabetes. And just like you can get the retinopathy, the peripheral neuropathy with diabetes, you can get gastroparesis because it's just, it's your nerves, right? Your blood, the blood flow to those little tiny capillaries that feed your eyes and feed your extremities are just not getting the oxygen they need. The same thing happens with those little the capillaries that feed your gut. And
Mm.
over time, it can make it so that your gut isn't responding and your peristalsis slows down and you're just not getting the food through. So um, I didn't work with a lot of people that had the gastric surgeries. They're kind of a whole other subset of GI patients.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not
Look,
recommend gastric
if
surgery to anybody.
well, it was the cure back then. I had it like 27, 28 years ago. So that
Right.
was going to cure me, and it obviously didn't. It's caused more heartache than anything. But
Yeah.
look, it is what it is. And I've just learned to live with it at the moment. So, and when I'm not like when I don't have a lot going on in my life, things are settled, I'm fine. I can eat
Right.
better. Like I can keep my food down, but it's just been a massive
Yeah,
couple
that's
of
why I
months.
suspect it's not gastroparesis because
Yeah.
the gastroparesis is actual damage to the nerves, and that would not come and go based on your stress
Yeah, it's
levels.
intermittent, so
Mhm.
and that's why I'm not that concerned. I just know it's because I've been, one minute I'm happy and dancing, and the next minute I'm in tears and crying like I'm all over the place, and it does. I can just tell it's by my moods.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, what do you think you might wanna try this coming week to just move a little closer to getting, where you wanna be?
Yeah, no, definitely continue with the vibration plate. That is a must twice a day. And just if I don't know, appointments happen like on a daily basis. I don't have any. I've got, I think, 3 appointments lined up for next week, and where they're more coming because we've just got people coming from all over the place. So um, I just have to wing it. Like I can't plan anything because then if I plan something and then I can't do it, I feel like I failed.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. My daughter's now got her Wilson. Here's what she calls her white cane, and she
Oh,
says,
cool.
"Mum, can we go on a little hike? She's got a little nature path that goes down the side of her house. We'll go and follow that." So it's just about taking in some steps, and we can do that together.
Yeah, I mean,
It
when you go to
helps her.
appointments, can you, like, park far away? Like,
Oh,
in
they
an
come to
area.
the house. They come to my daughter's house.
Oh,
Yeah, and because I do all her medical stuff, they won't talk to me direct. I've got to be with her all the
right.
time. Yeah, and she doesn't want to take calls or anything because she can't see the phone and it's, needs to write things down. She can't do that. So I
Yeah,
need to be at all the appointments. They're always at the house. It was only the one where we actually had to go out and learn how to use the stick, that we got to go out and do something. But yeah, which she just wants to go for a walk. So she says, whenever I come over, we'll go drive the car, find a nice little park, and then just go for a walk around a lake or do that. So
well, that's
I'm
great.
just going to try and increase steps and with my daughter.
Yeah,
So she's practicing with her stick, and I'll take the dogs for a walk while we go. Um, and so that's all I'm going to concentrate on is just moving more, but not actually. I don't think I'll be able to do much of the walk aerobics video. If
yeah,
I'm home, I will try, but if not, it's just about keeping on my feet a lot more and
right.
moving around. So
Now, I had sent you a short video a while back, maybe a couple weeks ago, that had these isometric exercises where you kinda, like, flex it, like, there was, like, 4 positions. Did you try that?
I haven't yet. No, I've still got the link here. I haven't been on my computer much at all. So
Maybe you can send that to your phone, and that might be something you could
yeah.
try because that's
Hmm.
so simple. You could do that anywhere, and it only takes, like, 2 minutes? I think it's
Right.
2 minutes, and,
Yeah.
like, and Amy mentioned somewhere up in the comments that isometric exercises are the things that she can do because of her EDS, which is a connective tissue disease. Um, I kind of would really like to I may start trying to do that too because I really want to try to get better strength. I feel like I
Yeah.
will do better overall with whatever what challenge we're doing if I can build up my strength. And isometric exercises, I think anybody can do. There's
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, you flex and you hold it. And it's like you, and I'm assuming that as you practice it, you can probably flex it tighter and hold, build muscle. So it's,
Which is what I need to do, yeah.
yeah. So maybe that's something that you could make a goal to maybe do that a couple times during the week. Just like message yourself, text yourself the video so it's on your phone, and that way you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, and I can get my daughter to do it with me because she's been sitting a lot with her condition. She just sits and listens to audiobooks because she can't see
Oh,
anything to do. So, she's trying to, wants a bit of movement and stuff, so we could
and
do it together.
that one too, like, I would think you could just listen to him explain what to do, and you could do it based on what he's just his verbal explanation. I don't think you need
Yeah.
to have her even be able to have to see it.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
doesn't have to stand in one place.
Yeah,
So
well, she can talk to a TV now. She's got the remote control, so you can actually search YouTube. So
cool.
she can find videos and things like that. So if I can make up a playlist, she'll be able to watch a playlist of different
Okay.
videos and things. So yeah, definitely things there we're sort of floating with at the moment, and hopefully find
Well,
things that we can do together.
I will make a point to do that at least a couple times this week, and
Okay.
that way we can reconnect and talk about it and see, whether it's something that we might want to do a little more of, and you know, but awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, Zeleny. Thank you. She says you are both so helpful and inspirational. I am going to go and do a big meat shop and put away my scales after this live.
Yay.
Yay, good. And
Excellent.
get a measuring tape out and take measurements, and write them down, and maybe in a month or 2 months or whatever, take other measurements.
Yes, so many things you can do to tweak later on, but just concentrate on healing first. It's the healing journey we need to
Yeah,
focus on.
and come back next Friday. We do this the same time. Well, for you, it's Saturday.
So,
You know,
yes.
so
And
it's
for Lainey, she's in Western Australia, isn't she?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure what the
Saturday
time zone
morning.
is there, but for you in Melbourne, it's 10:30 AM. For me,
Yes.
it's 5:30 PM on Friday Pacific time. But yeah, but we're here every week, just trying to move little baby steps forward with our fitness.
Yes.
So
Lots of baby steps at the moment, but we're doing it. We're
we're
doing it.
doing it. Yes, we're not going to give up, and we're going to get there.
No,
And I want to end up, sometime I want to have Rose back on when we're both here, because I know that
I'd love
I
that. I'd
love
love to
that.
meet Rose.
She's
Yeah.
amazing. She's amazing, and yeah, she's very helpful, and she's very fit. I'm going to see her on the 14th because she has organized a Washington Puget Sound meetup
Right. Okay.
for carnivores. And yeah, so I'm going to go. We're going to go to a place called Point Ruston that's in Tacoma, which is
Right.
kind of near the capital of Washington, and it's beautiful. And I guess there's a zoo there, and there's an aquarium, but there's all the sorts of hiking trails. And we're going to do a 5K walk, and then we're going to go to a cafe and socialize. And
Oh, beautiful. Well, you guys have fun. We're
yeah,
thinking of you all the way from here in Australia. We're so far away from all your meets over
I
there. It's so
know. I'm
disappointing.
just glad that there's actually something I can go to in Washington State, because,
Yeah.
with being part of the Healing Humanity, they're all having their meetups and stuff back in the, Midwest.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't go to any of them.
Well, we do have a meet up here in November, so hopefully that'll be great. And Bella and Kerry and Adam, Todd and Carnival Cure are all coming over. So I'm hoping you can still come.
Oh my goodness. I know my husband and I have been talking about finances, and it's like, I don't know, we're going to have to hope for something, right? So, awesome. Thanks for the encouragement, Amy. Yep. You have a lot on your plate, no pun intended. Good job.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Amy.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jay.
appreciate you.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today. Thanks so much for everybody that joined us. Really appreciate it. And we will see you next week.